Hello and welcome. This is Pylons with Opinions, episode 6. I'm Fulton Logan alongside my co-host Aaron Hodgson. Hodgie, I'll let you take it away right away.
Yes, exciting times today. We have our first official guest. Our guest was drafted in the 7th round, 120 by the Quebec Remparts. He comes from Halifax, Nova Scotia. He played all of his years. He played every year in the Q. He started as a 16-year-old and played all the way up until 21. He finished his Q career with the Moncton Wildcats. Welcome to the Pylons podcast, Christian Huntley.
What's up, boys?
What's going on, Huntley?
How's it?
Oh,
Thanks for coming on, Christian. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped. I'm your biggest fan, 100%. Thank you. If there's I'd be right up there. That's for sure.
First of all, congratulations on a great career.
Thank you.
Yes.
How's it feel to be done?
It's wild. It goes by fast, but I'm really excited to be home for a bit, man. Like, I miss you guys. I miss hanging out with our friends and being around family, and so although it's kind of bittersweet, it didn't end the way we wanted it to this year, but it's good to be back. I'm excited to get things going.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fulton, sorry.
With COVID, like kind of cutting it short, is it kind of like that? Does that make it kind of feel weirder almost?
Yeah.
That you were home so early.
Yeah, because it's like, well, usually when we're done, like I come back and we can hang out right away, right? Like it's fun to be home right away. But like when we're making a run this year and then all of a sudden it gets cut short like that. And so usually like there's a little bit of consolation when you're kicked out of, like when your year's over, that you get to come home and see your friends and family, but we can't even do that right now. So it's like it's kind of a rough bounce, and it really sucks that we were. Yeah, it really sucks that we had a good chance to go for it this year. Like we'd be in the middle of playoffs right now, throwing out the honorary beard.
Yeah. What was your run like? You guys had like a 19-0, 1-0 streak.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even know off the top of my head. I'd have to check it out, but I can pull up the stats here if you want. But it was long. It was like a couple months, man. I've never been on a run like that in my life.
How fun was that?
Oh, it was nuts. Like
just to be winning constantly.
Yeah. Like I've been on teams where you're losing constantly like that, and it makes it so much more fun to be around the rink when things are going well. And it's kind of a weird vibe too, because like we knew that we were one of the better teams in the league, so we came into every game expecting to win. So sometimes you'd even win and just come into the room and you'd feel terrible just because you played so bad, but you still came out with a win. So it was like, it's a weird vibe when you're on that much of a streak, and then when you lose it, that sucks. But it was definitely a lot of fun. We were hitting our stride for sure.
Yeah. Is that like something? Oh, this might be a dumb question, but like at the beginning of the year before like the season starts, is that something like you're told like by like the coaches and management stuff like that? Like this is your year. Like they're expecting a big run, and it's kind of like a, if we don't win, it's a bust kind of year. Is that like the mentality coming into the season with a team like that?
Well, kind of. Yeah, that's a good question. Because we didn't know like what we were gonna have really. Because going into training camp, we had 5 20s, and we had a bunch of guys at NHL camps, right? And so you don't know who's coming back.
Right.
And everything kind of fell into place for us. And then by the time the season got going, I think we all knew that we were going to be one of the top teams, and we got off to a pretty hot start too. So I don't know if it was ever really said that like it's do or die and we're selling the farm, but like I think everyone's kind of hoping that that's what we're doing.
Right.
Okay.
And and so by the trade deadline, like when all those moves come in, it's like that now it's go time. So that was exciting. I've never been in a position where we had that many big names come in. Like, so it really sucks too, man, because like we really did go for it this year. Like this was Moncton's year to win.
Right.
And so they just didn't even get a chance at it, and now and they still have nothing to show for it, right? Like they're going to be rebuilding next year.
For sure.
Without even having a chance to go for it. So that's kind of that hurts, but
before we go back to the beginning, one question I wanted to ask you, because I mean, it must be stressful, but you came into the training camp this year as an overager, right?
Yeah.
How stressful is that coming in? And
Yeah.
even when you get to the deadline, like how stressful is it thinking, you know what, I'm an overager and there's a restriction on how many overagers can be on a team.
Yeah.
Like how stressful is that?
Yeah, so I think we had, I don't remember the exact number that we had coming to camp because McKenna was away, Sear was away, or McKenna was in Calgary for camp, and Sear was in Philadelphia, Aspero was in Ottawa, and then it was me and Sites that were at camp. And we kind of knew the whole time that, like, we both needed to get a lucky bounce, kind of. But, like, it's weird because it's like, if we don't make the team, that means that another guy that's better than us is playing for them. So it's kind of a weird situation to be in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Aspero ended up playing in the AHL. Sear came back. And then McKenna was originally supposed to stay in the A as well, and didn't end up sticking, so he came back too. So yeah, the whole time, me and Sightsy are good buddies too, and so it was kind of tough knowing that it could be either one of us, and but we had fun through it. I mean, training camp's a lot of fun when you're one of the older guys because they're not really looking at you. It's not really a tryout. It's more of a get in shape, and like we know what you can bring to the table.
Right. Yeah.
So if there's room on our team for you, then you're there. But so it was a lot of fun for us. Not a lot of pressure, honestly. We'd come to the rink in the morning and practice and work out, and then it was just golf or play softball with the boys after. So it was actually a really good time. It's just kind of sucks that there's that underlying tone of not all of us are going to be here for the rest of the year.
Right.
For sure. Alrighty, well, yeah, let's jump back to the beginning. So, like I said in the intro, which was, you know, below average intro by me. That's about as good as I could give it.
I loved it.
I'm not very good at the intros. You were drafted by Quebec in the 7th round. Before we get to the actual draft day, what's it like in major midget? Like you're obviously kind of expecting maybe that's going to be the next move is to the Q.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's that kind of like meeting with teams and stuff like that? Like, do they meet with you through the season, or are you kind of waiting till the end at the off season to meet with them?
No, it's an exciting year. I don't remember when I got my first call, but it is during the season. So you're in the middle of your season, and you'll get calls from scouts. And you guys know that I'm not a big phone guy, right? Like, you know,
Jesus, no, no, not at all.
Yeah, so when I see a number that I don't know, like I don't pick it up. I don't want to talk in general, and then, right? So I think I must have missed 3 or 4 calls before it finally clued in that it's like, oh, those might be scouts. I should probably pick that up. Yeah, and I never check my messages or anything, so they're just, I was just missing calls, and but I got a few calls from most of the maritime teams.
Scouts probably thought you were the cockiest fucking
Yeah, that's like the douchebaggiest way to say no, is to just not pick up the phone.
Just don't return the call.
Calls. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Shearbrook, I'm not coming. I don't want to answer your fucking call.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were drafted by Quebec, but what teams did you talk to? Did you talk to all of them, or was it specific teams?
No, not all of them. I talked to most of the maritime teams. I talked to a couple Quebec teams as well. Talked to Rouen a little bit. That was at the draft combine though, so that was later on in the year. And they're kind of asking me like, do you speak French? And I was like, no, not like I kind of did. At that point, I was still taking French in school. So, but it was bad. So I think that they weren't really psyched on me after that meeting. But so I was talking to most of the maritime teams. The thing is too, I was looking to go prep school at that point, right? So
okay.
So they always ask you that question, or usually they ask you that question, like will you stay past 48 hours? Like they'll ask you, will you come to camp? And my answer was always yes. But if they asked me if I'd stay past 48 hours, I'd usually say no because I had a prep school deal on the table.
Oh, okay.
So I was just kind of hoping that Halifax wouldn't ask me that because that's where I wanted to go, a hometown, right? And they did, and so I knew that I wasn't super high on their list because of that. And then I was golfing, probably with Dimmer, I think. Either Dimmer or my buddy Hayden from Truro, and I got a call from Quebec. It was just like a normal conversation that you'd have with a scout. And then he asked me if I could show up to camp, and I said, yep. And then he said, great, and he hung up the phone. So they didn't ask me if I'd stay past 48, and so I think that, so I think that that's most of the reason that I ended up going there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so you said with mostly maritime teams, was Halifax one of those teams that you met with?
Yeah, I had an in-person meeting with them in Cape Breton, and that was it.
Okay. So what was that like with Halifax? Obviously, that's probably high on your list of teams you want to go to.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
Yeah, so I think I was going to say my dad might have been in there with me. Can't really remember, but I was so nervous going in because, like, I was really hoping that they'd pick me up in a later round, and but like I didn't want to tell them that I was thinking about prep school, because the truth is that if they picked me up, I wouldn't have thought about prep school. Like I would have wanted to play in Halifax. So
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very thorough in their conversation. When it's face to face, it's easier to do that.
Okay.
It was a great conversation though. Like I respect the fact that like they got to take care of themselves, right? Like they don't want to waste a pick on a guy that's not going to show up. So
No, for sure.
yeah, but it was
That's
a lot of fun. I got to go in to the offices and stuff, and then I was 15 at that point. I didn't even know like where they were, right? I just knew I loved going to the Metro Center as a kid, so it was all really cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So obviously, when it comes to the Q, there's a few arenas that are like kind of bigger than the average Q arena, and I would put Halifax on that list. And I would also put it probably up there for one of the best Q atmospheres in the league.
Yeah.
So I know you said you wanted to go there, and then coming home to play them once a year with Quebec. What was that like for you? Did it kind of add on to maybe previous nerves that you had just playing a game?
Yeah.
Or was it actually more motivating, more exciting?
Yeah, no, 100%. It was, we only got one game a year when I was in Quebec. So we'd always have like a ton of people come out to it, right? Like you guys would always come out. I think the first time, there was like 150 tickets that I knew people were coming. We had like a whole section.
Shit.
Yeah, we had a whole section.
Yeah. So, there's a little bit of added nerves. I was mostly excited. I'd only ever practiced in there before, so... And I played one game. That's not true, actually. I played one game when I was like 8. But the stands weren't exactly full. So I was super pumped. We used to do this, we used to do the starting lineup in Quebec before every game.
Right.
Like someone would, we'd do like the, I don't know if you can hear that, the we will rock you, kind of like hitting your pants and then clapping kind of thing, and then someone would get up in the middle and basically just scream at all the boys as loud as they could, and it was never me because I was 16 and shy and quiet, and so for the hometown game the boys made me do that, and I was so embarrassed, man. Like I was so quiet at that point. Like, I had not come out of my shell whatsoever. And so I remember I had to do that, and I was so pissed at them for making me do that. Like, that added more nerves than anything, was just me having to do the starting lineup in the room before.
Well, that's kind of good, though. Get the nerves out of the way early, and then go out and enjoy that first game back home.
Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. That was one of my most memorable games of all time. Right up there with PlayOn. That's with winning PlayOn. Those are my two favorite games.
So when you stepped out on the ice that first time in Halifax, like how did it, when you look up and you see the amount of people that are there watching you, just how does it hit you like holy shit?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I was very fortunate to play in two amazing rinks, one in Quebec City and one in Moncton for my whole career. Right. So like I kind of had those wow moments of like a big crowd being there. Like our home opener was sold out because it was the first game in a new Videotron Center in Quebec.
It's like 20,000, isn't it?
What's that?
It's like 20,000.
Yeah,
like that, isn't it?
I think it's like 18 and a half. It's up there. it was pretty cool. But I kind of had those and I think we didn't come to Halifax until after Christmas, so we would have been 40, 50 games into the season. And so I kind of, the nerves of that were going away. But when you got people in the stands that that hits a lot different. I remember even in minor hockey, like, not a whole lot of people are coming to your games, but when you look up and you see like people from your high school in the stands, it's like, oh shit, like I gotta play well tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more of that than being nervous of like how many people were in the stands. It was mostly just really cool that I was playing in my hometown in front of all my friends and family.
For sure. All right. So after you get drafted, you make the team at a camp. And now it comes to living with a billet family.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your first like interaction with your billet family. What was that like? Yeah,
that was so fast, man, because I got there, right, you can only stay 48 hours if you're trying to keep your NCAA eligibility. So I got there, we went on the ice, worked out, and then the day was over, and I was staying in the hotel at this point. And then next day, same thing. There's inter-squad games at night, and my buddy Derek Gentile had signed the day before, and so it was coming down to like the 48-hour mark, and like I told them I wasn't going to stay unless I got a contract, and so we ended up working one out, and then the next day met my billets, moved my stuff in, and my parents left, and that was it. So like it was just like it happened really fast, and I'd never lived away from home before. So we just rolled up with all my stuff, met them at the door, moved myself. I didn't even spend much time there right away, because I would have just put my stuff in my room and talked with them for like 15 minutes, and then we would have headed out to practice again. But they're great people. Like, they're still very important people in my life. They were like professional billets, man. Kathleen and Richard were their name. Like, they were always home to cook. Like anything we needed, they were there. They'd pick us up from anywhere at any time. Like, great people.
That's awesome.
That makes it a lot easier for sure.
Right. Yeah. But the being away from home for the first time and meeting new people, their English was really good. But there is like a little bit of a language barrier there too. So the whole thing is kind of a little bit awkward to start, but they were amazing about it. It wasn't their first time doing it like it was mine. So really enjoyed that.
Okay. Yeah. So that was kind of my next thing, was how long did it take for you to kind of like, get comfortable living there? Like almost like it was your own house. Like, obviously it's not your home, like you're living with people, but like how long did it take you to like, get comfortable around the house?
Yeah, I remember this is probably like my second week being there, and like I never watched a lot of TV as a kid. Like if I was spending too much time in the basement, Mom would come down and get me and kick me out of the house, make me go play road hockey or something for a little bit, and so it was like my second week there, and like you got Netflix on your phone, so I watched a movie, and like on a day off, like in the middle of the afternoon, I was like, this is kind of nice. And for the first time ever, I watched a second movie, like back to back. Like, I'd never done that in my entire life until I was 16 years old, which is nuts. But so that I started to get comfortable, and like I never lived on my own before, so you can do things that are a little different. Like you're the one who has to, like, no one's holding you accountable to go to bed on time, right? Like that's on you,
right?
Now, and so it did take me a little while to adjust. To be completely comfortable in the house, maybe not even to my second year, because I kind of knew what I was getting into and what I was heading for, and but the first year was definitely an adjustment period, in every facet, not just living in a billet home, right? But playing hockey, and it was an adjustment year in the gym for me. I was only 150 pounds when I showed up at camp, so I had some work to do there. So it took a while to adjust. It was a big hop, but tons of fun. It was an amazing opportunity too, so I took advantage of it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're happy you had that experience now.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, like one of the cool things too is like I moved away from home when we were all still in high school.
Right.
And so I kind of felt like I was missing out on that. But when I did come home, like I made sure to make the most of it. And we had some pretty cool summers, and those last couple months of school are like the best months anyways.
Yeah.
And I got to be home for those. Yeah, so I didn't take being home for granted after being away. So that was a really cool learning experience.
For sure.
You yeah, no, you go ahead,
sorry.
Aji. You go ahead.
No, I've asked so many questions. Fulton.
All right. No, I just want, because you said, I mean, obviously Halifax is a special place to play for you. But was there any other cities or arenas that, like, the atmosphere was kind of your favorite? Was it like a home? Was it a home arena, or was it on the road? Like, there was a city you circled that on your schedule. You were ready to play there.
Halifax would have been that for me the whole time. Like that. Not only because it's my hometown game, but it's so loud in there, man. Like everyone's into it. Like there's not a whole lot of rinks in the league where you take a penalty and have kids chirping you over the glass, right? So that's, not everyone enjoys that atmosphere, but that's what I grew up in terms of watching Q hockey, right? So I loved it.
It's funny because you say, like, kids chirping you when you take a penalty.
Yeah.
So your first game back in Halifax with Moncton, after the Moncton trade.
Yes.
You took, I want to say it was like a 2-minute tripping penalty or something like that.
Oh, man.
And
yeah.
And I was sitting up, we had like a row in the upper bowl, and I was sitting next to Dimmer.
Yeah.
And when you took that penalty, and the commentator comes over the speakers and he says, 2-minute penalty Moncton on number 27 Christian Huntley, and Dimmer cheered. Like he was like woo! And I turn my head and I look at Dimmer, and he looks at me with a big smile on his face, and he goes, "He's on the stat sheet, boys. He's on the stat sheet."
Exactly. That's all that matters. Yeah. Oh man. I remember that call too. That was brutal. Do you remember it? It was like it was Getzman was on a breakaway or something, and I just gave him a shot in the back, and he lost his balance, fell.
Yeah.
And
no, because we talked about that after the game too.
Yeah. No, I still haven't gotten over that. I don't go to the box very often, so
that's awesome.
I remember most of them, but yeah. In terms of like another rink that's got an atmosphere like that, Rimouski would be right up there.
Rimouski.
Yeah, kind of an older barn, but it's pretty big, and the fans are pretty crazy too. Chicoutimi, when they're playing well, that's a tough barn to play in too.
Okay.
Even Sherbrooke, but playing in Quebec and Moncton, those are two brand new rinks.
Yeah. And
the brand new rinks tend to be like a little bit quieter. I don't know what it is. I'm not an architect or anything. But yeah, like there's a big difference in terms of sitting in the stands in those rinks and being on the ice. Like it sounds a lot different. Yeah, so never the loudest rinks, but still amazing atmospheres, like big time.
Yeah,
both of them. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. You brought up a good friend of all of ours, Spencer Dimmer. I mean, this guy, he's hilarious. You must have maybe a funny story you can think of right away of this guy.
Dimmer?
There's so many. Yeah, there's so many funny things he's done.
Jeez. I don't know. You guys can chime in here too, obviously, but I'm thinking of like PlayOn. We've been on the same PlayOn team for since years. I moved here in grade 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was the first year that we were on a team together. And we were good friends at that point, but I was relatively new to Halifax and whatever, so I'd never been in the tournament with you guys, and we got our asses kicked 2 out of the 3 games. I think we got mercied, and I think half our team doesn't play hockey. Right? We just play road hockey after school every day. That's it. You've never stepped on the ice in your life, Fulton.
I've never played an organized game of hockey. Yeah. Just road hockey with you guys after school.
Yeah, yet you're in our shootout lineup, so that doesn't matter a whole lot.
So that kind of gives you a general idea of how we were stacked up.
Yeah. So we got killed, and then we made it to the second day though, and we had to play like in the rain, and we were playing this team. We were better than them, but they're handing it to us, and Dimmer had about enough, so he went out. Remember, he went after like their biggest guy. Yeah. This guy was massive, and like none of us are fighters. Like he's the only one out of our friend group really that'll mix it up.
We were small. We were probably 5'8".
It's like, what's Quater and Jordan going to come to your aid in grade 6? They're like 4'3". Yeah, so he was always just starting shit when we were kids, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
He would get going, man.
Yeah.
Because especially in PlayOn too, when you have someone like on your back just jabbing you from behind, it doesn't take much to like for you to snap.
Oh, exactly.
And Dimmer was always a guy just give like a little slash to the calves or the shins of the guy.
Yeah.
And like if you do that to the wrong guy and PlayOn, like here you go.
Yeah. A lot of damage control throughout the years in that ball hockey tournament.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was my last year PlayOn. You guys must have dropped him, and we picked him up on waivers because he was too much of a hothead. But I can't remember exactly why, but yeah, we made it to the second day. No, there was the
1 year we didn't play together. We took 1 year off.
Yeah, because Haji, I was on that team. It was like me,
you. Right. You were, you were on that team too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and we made it to the second day. No, we did not do well at all. But
we made it to the second day with like an 0-3 record.
Yeah, we didn't win a game, but we. Yeah, it's good enough for the second day, I guess.
Yeah.
But we were playing some team. I remember they were green shirts on, and they were like slashing and cross checking all that stuff, and like all of us were getting kind of annoyed, but nobody was saying anything. Except for Dimmer. Dimmer just, like, he lost his fucking mind in the middle of this game. Like, I remember he was ready to, like, square up and fight somebody in the middle of the game.
It's fun, though, because it's, like, outside of any sport, like, Dimmer would never do that.
No.
Like, he would never cause a confrontation, like, outside of like, hockey or PlayOn or whatever. But, like, when it was, like, PlayOn, that was the one weekend growing up that we all like planned for like 2 months ahead.
Yeah.
And we all like had like we all like slept over at the same house the night before. First game would be at like 7:30 the next morning. And like Dimmer would be up at like 5:30, like we gotta go, like we gotta find parking, we gotta go. And then you get down there and like as soon as like you can say, oh, I don't like I'm just out there for fun, I don't really care what happens. But once the game starts, like I guarantee you care what happens. You want to win. And Dimmer, like, no better example than Spencer Dimmer for that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's so fun, like going to your games, because I went to all of them with Spencer, pretty much. And I remember one, it was when you got traded from Quebec to Moncton, and you got traded, like, a week before Quebec's game in Halifax.
Yeah.
So we all had our tickets anyway, so we just went. And like the whole game, like periodically throughout each period, Dimmer just at random times would be like, "Go Christian!" from the upper bowl, and like everyone was probably just looking around, like, "Who the fuck is Christian? There's no Christian out there."
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
You guys might have to have him on this podcast. He's a bit of a legend around here, man.
He is hilarious.
There's not many people who have scored the shootout winning goal at the last PlayOn ever.
Oh man,
I'd say there's a select few.
That had to have been the best day of my life.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true.
We still get goosebumps when we watch the playback.
Well,
you have to throw that on the pod's Instagram. Just so
100%.
Yeah.
We were gonna save this to the end, but a couple people actually wrote in to ask questions for you.
Perfect.
And this ties in exactly, like right in with what we're talking about, and it comes from Keeler, who at the time was obviously our goalie.
Yep.
And he just wants to know what was going on in your head when Dimmer scored the shootout winner in the PlayOn final.
Oh, nothing. Just blank. I've never well, first of all, that whole game, that was the team that like almost mercied us in the round robin the day before.
Yeah, we lost 15-7.
Yeah, none of us thought we were going to win. None of us play hockey, right? Like, I'm the only guy. I think by this point, I might have been the only guy who was still playing hockey on our team.
Well, let's go through the roster because you were playing in the Q.
Mm-hmm.
Liam and Dimmer were playing high school or just finished high school because it was grade 12 going into like first year university.
Yeah, and that was work to rule, so they didn't even have a season for like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that half the year they weren't even playing. And then so Keeler was the goalie for the high school team. But then there was me, Jordan, and Quater. And Jordan and Quater played like house pretty much their whole lives, but they hadn't played in like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And then there's me who literally has only played street hockey, never ice hockey.
Right. Greatest underdog story of all time.
Greatest, 100%.
So, we're going into that game thinking we have no chance. And they're all over us the whole time. Like, we're barely hanging on. I think we're down 10-7 at one point late in the game. We came back and tied it. Yeah. And still, I was like, there's no way we're winning this game. But they end up having to shoot first in the shootout, and they miss. And then we scored, and then they missed again. And I was like, oh, man.
This could do it.
Yeah. Like, that was the first time I was like, we're actually gonna come through. And so Dimmer goes up, and I was already ready to run onto the court, and he scored, and I like ate shit because I was running so fast, and I still made it to him first.
I went to Keeler first.
So high in my life. I was so happy. I was so happy.
That was probably the best like sports game I've ever played in.
Yeah, and it's just a ball hockey tournament. Yeah, like, for fun. Kind
of.
But
that was like year 7 for us entering into this, and we had like no success leading up to that.
Yeah, even in high school floor hockey, like we hyped that tournament up so much, and we were by far the best team, and we got shit kicked in the final.
I remember when we lost that game. It was like a 4-1 loss in the final. After we made like we had a Twitter account going where we tweeted out like pregame interviews.
Yeah.
And all that. Like we took it way too far, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then when we lost in that final,
milked the shit out of that.
Oh, 100%. But we all went down to the public library that was right next to our high school after we lost that game.
Because we were so depressed. I had class.
We texted our parents and we're like, you're going to get a call saying I wasn't in class this afternoon, but that's just because I can't do it.
I'm so sad.
They were like, what happened? Did someone die? No, we lost our floor hockey final.
Oh, man. That was so sad. There was no way I was going back to class, though, because, like, I was so sweaty. And, like, also, I had leadership and English. That was it at that point. Because everything else was online. So I was like, I really don't have to be here. Yeah, so went down to the library, played a little bit of Chell. Always makes you feel better.
Dude, going back to that final in PlayOn, because you say there was nothing going on through your head, I was shitting myself because like before the shootout started, we all grouped together and we were like, all right, what do we want the order to be? So we picked you first, right. And then we had Dimmer second, and then I looked at Liam and I was like, so you're gonna go third, right? And he was like, no chance I go third. I was like, and Jordan and Quater. Well, Quater like hurt his ankle in the semis, so he wasn't doing it. And I look at Jordan. IR. Yeah, and Jordan was like, all right, man, it's gonna be you. And I was like, I'm the only non-hockey player on this whole team, and you want me to shoot third round in this final shootout? They were like, yeah. So when Denver was coming up to take his shot, I was sitting on the sidelines, and I was kind of like, we could win right here, but also like Denver, like, please fucking score, because there's no way I want to go in.
What was your move? What was your move if you had to go?
Okay, well, that's the thing, because I was like, all right, I'm either gonna go down, hopefully see like half the net wide open and just shoot, or I was gonna do like the backhand forehand and then like the one-handed backhand tuck.
Yes,
because that was like that was my road hockey move, and I actually like I had that one down in road hockey. Like that's what I went to every time, and I was like, I'm doing it, so hopefully these guys don't get mad when I like, I don't know, trip over my own stick and go face first into the barrier. But
I'm kind of pissed now that Denver scored. I wanted to see that.
It would have been cool to like win it on that, but at the same time, like imagine we're in a tie game and I come up in the third round, do that, and miss a net, and we're just like, and then we're like, all right, well now what? All right, Quater, you're on crutches, but
yeah,
you're up for the fourth round.
Quater just takes a one-knee slap shot from half. Can't move. It's the only option. Keeler has to take a spot. Yeah. No, it was a good thing Dimmer scored.
Yeah, no, I'm happy it played out the way it did.
Yeah.
My final thing about Dimmer, I think you told me this story. It may have been Squeaks, but I'm pretty sure it was you. It was at Cavi when.
Wait, me or Fulton? I told you this.
You, Christian.
Okay.
I think it was you or Squeaks told me this story, but I'm quite sure it was you. It was at Cavi when Dan and Shay were on for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, so I'll let you take it from there.
No, keep going. I'm not there yet. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't at this Cavi, but like I said, one of you two told me about it, but Dimmer's a big Dan and Shay fan.
Yeah.
And so actually, you know what, Fulton? It may have been you that told me this.
No, I love this story, dude. This is great.
Okay, so you were there, so I'll let you take it over, because I wasn't there for this, so I don't know all the facts.
Okay, well, I mean, so yeah, Dan and Shay are opening for, it was Shawn Mendes that night, which, very underrated, too, because, you know, when he was announced for Cavi, like, everyone was kind of like, well, that's not country, like, whatever, and then, Christian, me and you on the side, we were like, this could be pretty good.
Really good, yeah.
And it was. But
yeah.
Dimmer's fired up for Dan and Shay, because because he drove up, him, Liam, and it was Jose, and they drove up together on Monday, like the day of the concert. And they said that they were playing, like they were looking up the song lineup on the way up, and they were learning all the words to the songs.
Oh, yeah.
This is my favorite story. I love this.
And so it comes concert time, and we're like in the middle of the crowd, and Dan and Shay started playing their song Speechless. And Dimmer knew every single word.
Yeah.
And at the start where it's like, they hit that high note and they're like, I'm speechless. Or it's like that. Dimmer belches out in the middle of the crowd, screams at the top of his lungs, like, and everyone within like 100 feet of us turns and looks at Dimmer. Dimmer's like dancing, like he's got his hands in the air going. Everyone around just starts cracking up, starts just losing it. And I'm there and I'm like, I don't even know what happened in the concert after that, because I was just like, my stomach hurt so bad from laughing from that. It was the best moment of my life. Dimmer's turned around. He's got his back turned to the stage. He's looking at us and he's just screaming the words at us. And everyone within like 100 feet is like turned around and just looking at him.
It was wicked. Yeah. Man, if you, Fulton, and Dimmer are in the same room, man, it's just like, it's just story time, man.
It's just,
every time.
It's so good.
It's total chaos.
Anytime you can get Dimmer singing, it is just a treat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Do you guys think Cavi's gonna happen this year?
I don't think so.
No,
I mean, Osheaga being canceled now is kind of like, I mean, obviously that's a way bigger setting in a way bigger city. Mm-hmm. But I just don't see a way. Like, I don't
understand why they haven't even canceled. Like, I'm surprised they haven't canceled it yet. Like,
no, I know. I think they're holding off because like PEI is kind of like they're not announcing like any new cases of COVID like recently. Right. So like I think they're just kind of in the hopes like maybe they're able to have it. I don't know, but I don't think they'll open it up to like everybody to come like they always do is the problem. So even if they have it, it's just gonna be like a small festival.
I didn't.
Yeah, maybe they're
anything.
Maybe they're waiting till like, because like our thing is saying it like our quarantine thing is not over till like June, and that's when they'll like reconsider it or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they're waiting to see like how like the maritime provinces do at least, and I don't know, maybe they'll just open it to maritime provinces. You never know, but I think.
But then they still
have
to bring in the artists.
Like, that's true.
Depending on where they're.
I heard somebody told me that they might be looking at rescheduling it for later in the summer.
Oh, that'd be unbelievable.
Which would be sick.
Yeah.
Way closer to hockey season, and therefore like 4 times as unhealthy. But That's all right.
There you go.
Yeah, what's
Campus
yeah,
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Haji.
I
don't even think I had any. I don't even think I had anything, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Well, I had one more question for your first year when you were in the queue.
Yeah.
Like, what was that first, like, welcome to this league moment? Like, was it a big hit, or like watching a fight or a goal, or even just stepping out on the ice for the first time? Like, what was that like? Holy shit! Like, I'm here. Like, welcome.
Well, there were a few moments where I was like, man, like this is a big step. Like first time on the ice with them, like, because you'd have like ice times with the rookies and the first year guys, and you'd be able to keep up there. But then like you get on the ice with the guys who were actually on the team last year, and the fitness level was through the roof. Like, yeah, it was unbelievable, and like just the pace they play the game at's a lot faster too.
Right.
But I think that if there was that one moment, it would have been my first game, where like we were sold out, and there was like this huge light show before the game. So we ended up having warm up like an hour before the game, which is like completely pointless because we just had to sit in the room while like these old timers played like a game of shinny, and then they did like this whole like light show, and then there's like player introductions, and then player introductions were first, and so we all came out to the bench. And then the light show came at that point. Or maybe I've got this all backwards. Anyways, something happened that we were on the bench and we had to sit and watch maybe jersey retirements or something. Like it was this whole thing. Like all of Quebec was at the rink. So they had to make it a big deal. Right. And I was 16, so I had to stand up for the entire presentation right before my first game. So I'm like exhausted before we even get on the ice, and even if I was fresh, man, like the speed, and the intensity it was just nuts. Like Yannick Turcotte was on my team that year. Look up his fights on YouTube because that's something else. So he fought like first shift. I got everybody going, and then like my first shift, I got absolutely burnt wide, and my second shift, I got absolutely burnt wide, and my third shift. I got absolutely burnt wide. Like it was ridiculous. I wasn't fast enough, like or ready for it. Like it was. I enjoyed the experience, but I was like, man, I got some work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fulton, you can go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you last time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can tell us if you want to, but I was just going to talk about that game that we went down. This is. Christian, this was last year. No, this was actually this year. Okay. Over, I want to say it was like New Year's time, like that kind of time.
Yeah.
And Haji and I went down to the game with Logan, and we sat front row in the corner. Oh. And so it was like a Friday night, and it was my last night in Halifax before going back to school. So we had tickets for the game, and Haji and I were like, yeah, might as well, have a few beers. And, a few turns into, like, quite a few. So we're doing pretty well. And as the game goes on, like, we would put our beers up on the ledge because there was no cup holders on these seats. So we put the beers up on the ledge. And we said we had a system going. So every time there was a hit about to happen right in that corner, we'd yell beers, grab our beers, lift them up, let the hit happen on the glass, and then put them back.
Yeah,
and we were
the
like,
glass moves in the Metro Center too.
Oh, it moves, dude. We were like, oh, we'll leave him up if Christian's gonna come and lay a big hit into somebody just to make it look way more dramatic.
Never.
We'll let the beers go flying, make a big scene, and it'll be hilarious. But we were doing that throughout the game, and then the third period comes around, and we're sitting down in the corner, and me and Haji are feeling it. Like we're there.
I think we both at that point consumed at least like 2 pitchers of beer.
Yeah, no, we were having fun. And
it was borderline spinning in that seat.
And we told Logan, we were like, yo, dude, me and Haji keep getting carried away in conversation. You got to say beers if there's a hit coming. Logan was like, okay. So it's like halfway
because
through
we're
the
sitting
third.
there like giggling and laughing our asses off.
The beers are on the glass, and it's just like all I hear is I'm looking at Haji, and all I hear is oh, and then bang right in front of us. There's a huge hit. Beers go flying. I have a lap full of beer, And Logan was sitting like in between us, and I just look at Logan, and he
No,
goes,
Logan was on the end.
He's on the end. Yeah, and he was like, I look at him, and he's just like wide-eyed, like, oh shit, and he was like, beers?
Oh, man.
But we were going to leave it up for you, because we were like, oh man, if he's going to throw a hit in this corner, we'll leave the beers up, get out of the way, and we'll just like, let them fly.
Yeah, just make me look good.
I remember there. I remember there.
I had like 7 career hits in my entire career. Maybe. You have to look that one up.
I remember because at one point, I think it was like the second period or third period, me and you came down with 3 beers each, and we're sitting there and we like put them on top of like on the edge of the glass, and there's like these 13, 14-year-old girls sitting next to us, and one of them looks at me and they're laughing, like they're giggling at us because they think we're hilarious because we're trying to carry fucking 6 beers between each other. And one of them looks at me and goes, "Do you guys need any help like holding those?" and me and Fulton look at each other, start like losing it laughing because we're like, nah, we got this, we're all good. And yeah, we'd have one beer in our hand and it'd be like, beers, and you gotta try to like hold 3 beers at the one time. It was
I'd be scared.
It was kind of like every time you yell car in road hockey.
Yeah.
That's what we related it to. Car,
Man,
lift the nets up, take them away.
I'm scared to like go to a sporting event like that and have drinks because like I think that would ruin my day if I spilled, man.
I wasn't too happy about it.
I couldn't take it. I guess you're in the bag though, so it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, at that point I wasn't looking to finish the beers anyway. They were like half empty. And I was just
at that point it was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing that happened.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what I think.
So kind of jumping back. So one thing I wanted to bring up was so you're in your 4th year with Quebec, right? And then you get the trade to Moncton.
Yeah.
Is that right? That
yeah.
4th year. So what was that like? Like, did you have to like meeting with the GM for them to let you know that happened? Like, what was that day like?
Well, we like a little bit of backstory. We had kind of tried to go for a run in my 3rd year, and it didn't work out. We lost in Game 7 in the first round to Welshie and Charlottetown Islanders. And
oh, that's right.
They went on to do really well that year, but
okay.
So we didn't really have much coming back into the next season, and our coach GM had left the team, so Patty Waugh came in to replace him. But we didn't really have much of a team, and I was homesick. Anyways, being so far away from home, and then plus our we didn't really have anything to build around anymore.
Right.
So I had a couple of conversations with Pat, and just to let him know that like I kind of like to be closer to home at this point in my career, and so he I'm really thankful to him. Like he did it. He put a trade together, and I found out on Christmas break. I got a phone call from him, and I was heading to Moncton, and I was so excited, man. Like it's only 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to see you guys a whole lot more, and
right.
my mom came to. I think my mom came to like every home game after Christmas that year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember like your mom and your dad like they'd be saying that they would go to a fair amount of games up in Moncton.
Yeah.
It's just a lot easier than going to Quebec, obviously.
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah, big time.
And it's so I grew up in Moncton a little bit until I started school. So not that I have a whole lot of friends there, but my parents do.
Okay.
So like.
Oh, okay.
So family friends, right? So I lived with a billet family that the dad Francis lived with us when he was in university. So
that's
pretty
that's
cool to go stay with him and his family. They have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, 2 daughters, and they just had a newborn baby. And just as I was leaving because of the outbreak, they got 2 puppies. So it was like a busy house. It was like complete 180 from what I've been used to in Quebec, but it was really cool. They were great.
Oh, okay.
And Moncton's an unbelievable organization, man. Like top notch as far as the CHL goes. Like, they Mr. Irving's the best owner in hockey, in my opinion. Like, that guy makes sure we have everything we need, and the guys were great. Coaching staff was great. Yeah, it was. I was really excited to find out I was going there, and then Moncton was better than I expected it to be as well. So yeah,
That's sick. So before kind of jumping into the new billet situation again, like so you played for Patrick Waugh for a little bit. Like, what is that like when you find out he's coming in, like someone like that of his statue?
Yeah, right. Like, that's like he's a legend, man. Like,
yeah, like I would do a double take.
Right, everyone knows who that guy is, and also like you hear the stories of like, well, I mean, you've seen him flip out on SportsCenter, right? Like a million times, not a million times, but like he has some legendary moments, and you hear stories and stuff, and it's like, oh man, like I wonder how this is gonna go. He was an unbelievable coach. I really enjoyed playing under him. Yeah, he wasn't like some people think that he's crazy, like, or whatever. Like, that's like the stereotype that goes around. Not at all, man. He was a beauty. Like, you could sit down and eat lunch with him, like have a great conversation. He was the coolest thing about him is how passionate and how invested he is, like all the time, like in practice and stuff. Like he's always yelling, but he's not like mad. You know what I mean? Like he's just like he just wants to get his point across. Like he's so engaged.
He's passionate.
Yeah, like he demands that like just by listening to him talk, like you have to be all in. Like you have to be focused and ready to go for practice. Like it makes coming to the rink a lot of fun. So yeah, it's too bad that I was only there for half a year, but amazing learning experience, and definitely won't forget that anytime soon.
No, that's awesome.
That's sick. Yeah, so being able to ask him, you know, like I kind of want to be closer to home. You must have had a pretty good relationship with him.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you can develop a relationship in that short time period, but I always found that he made it easy to come into his room and have a conversation, right? Like his door was always open. It was definitely a hard conversation because Quebec had been so good to me throughout the years. Like they gave me my start in the league, and when a lot of people didn't think that I could play at 16, right? Like they took a chance on me and invested in me, and so I was really kind of split about leaving. Like my billets were amazing too. Like I didn't want to, right? Like there was a lot going on there. It was a tough conversation, but he was really good about it. Not exactly happy to let me go or anything, but he respected what mattered to me, and so I really appreciated that.
He ever tell you any good stories from his NHL days?
Oh man. Yeah, well, I'm just thinking like not much that you haven't heard already, right? Like I've had a bunch of amazing coaches over the years as well. I think that Torchetti was really cool for telling stories, because he was kind of like a grinder. Right. Like he never really stuck in the NHL. Like he played a lot of games in the A, and he's got stories of like when he'd have a contract where you basically only get paid if you win. So like if you don't win, you get like no money. Like you won't be able to live. But if you win, like you make bank. And they won like I don't know if he played for that team, or I don't even know what league it was in, but it might have been like the East Coast, and they ended up winning 58 out of 65 games that year. Like just the way the bonus structure worked was like, it was like life or death. Yeah, so there was some really cool stories that came out of that. Yeah, so I've been lucky to meet a lot of cool people that have some stories to tell, but that's one guy that comes to mind when talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
That's awesome. So then this was your first full season. This season was your first full season with Moncton this year or last year?
Yeah, this year. Yeah, came in at Christmas.
This year.
Okay,
so
obviously
the season's not even a full season, but you started out with them this year. and then you guys are going strong, and then you guys get to the deadline, and you pick up a couple of huge players, including Jared McIsaac and Bo Gruel.
Yeah.
What was that like in the room when you hear that?
Yeah. It's we were excited, man. Like we wanted to win this year. We were all in. Yeah, so every time we kind of you hear whispers around the league, right? Leading up to the deadline. We kind of knew that there was a good chance that Jared was going to be coming in and Bo. But then we made a couple other moves as well. And every time like a big name, we'd hear a big name. Like it was such a confidence boost, right? Like our lineup was so solid, and all of those guys were leaders on their old teams too. So when you get that much like experience and leadership in the room, I think sometimes like there can be a fear that it's not, that people are not going to mesh well and egos are going to clash. But it was our dressing room atmosphere was really cool. Like everyone mixed well together, and there was such a high level of, like, the bar was set really high. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't okay to come to the rink and not give it 100%. Like the boys were really good at holding each other accountable. Yeah, and that's what happens when you get that many like that much experience, right? Like everyone knows or a lot of guys know what it takes to win. And so there's no excuses at that point. It's kind of funny too. The way like seniority works in the queue, like the guys with the most games played and stuff, like they get first pick, a seat on the bus and whatever. So after Christmas, we had guys that with like 150 games played sitting at like the front of the bus, because like that's how much experience we had on our team. It was nuts. like 18-year-old guys that have been in the league for 3 years are like furthest up sitting with the reporters and stuff. Like, wow. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you talked about that locker room being a really good experience. Who were some of the guys maybe that were like I don't want to say like the class clowns, but they were the guys that were like, they'd always get the guys going. They were hilarious in the locker room, just like the jesters almost. Yeah.
Well, Peltier's a character, man. That guy is something else. Like he's a one of a kind guy. Like he's.
That's a better word. Sorry, characters. Who are the characters?
Yeah. He he's an unbelievable player, unbelievable work ethic, a great leader. But he doesn't really. He's always got something to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of the craziest things you'll ever hear out of anyone's mouth will come from him. Yeah. Well, I can tell this on here. This is nuts. My first day there, I came home from Quebec for Christmas break, got traded on Christmas break, and so as soon as Christmas break's over, I just report to Moncton, and all my gear was sent there already. So it's on my first day there. The coach didn't even tell me like where to go in, so I just like went in the front door, like the box office, and the door is locked, obviously, because you can't just like go into the ring. And I'm like, okay, so I had to like wait in line. Like these people were getting tickets and stuff for future games, and I was just waiting in line. I got to the door and I was like I'm a player. I don't have any ID or like a tracksuit or anything. I'm brand new. So I'm like, I'm a player. Like, how do I get to the dressing room? And she was like, I don't really know. Like you can try like door 8 or whatever. Door 8's locked. Come back, and the coach isn't picking up his phone. I was like, man, like the guys are gonna think I'm an idiot. Like rolling into my first practice like a half hour late. But anyways, coach comes to get me, and I'm meeting all the guys, and I meet Peltz, and it's whatever. And so we have a meeting. It's probably held up for like 40 minutes because I was stuck in the box office. But so we have like a meeting with all the guys in the video room, and Peltz is just kind of shooting the shit, and like in French with some of the guys in the back, so I don't really understand what he's saying. And coach comes in the room and he's like, "What's up, boys? Everyone have a good break?" And I was like, yep. And he's like, Pels, that was your break, man. And Pels is like, good sex. I said, what? Everyone just dies laughing. Like, coach does too. Like, I've never been in an atmosphere like that before where, like, like, he's real buddy with the coaches, man. Like, no filter on that guy. Like, he'll say anything.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's a character.
That is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude. No, that caught me off guard for sure.
Kind of going along with that, when like out on the ice, was there ever like a situation where like someone chirped you or one of your teammates chirped somebody else and like all you could, like, it was just so funny or so good that all you could do was laugh?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a very vocal guy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't get into that stuff very much. And also, like, my memory is super selective. Like, when it comes to games, like we can come in after the first period and you can ask me what I was thinking on a certain play and I don't even remember it happening. So when it comes to chirps, man, I don't have a whole lot in the that come to mind.
Right.
Players that I played with that were good at it, like Andrew Pico was always in the other team's ear, like, no matter what. Like, that was just his game. He couldn't like, he wasn't in it unless he was talking.
Right.
Oh yeah, some guys need it to get in the game.
Yeah, Jared McIsaac's very much like that.
Really?
Yeah, he has some funny ones, man, because, like, yeah, he's an unbelievable player, right? But everyone who's not on his team hates playing against him because he's that good, but also he's always in your ear, so
He'll let you know how good he is.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, what do you say to him, right? So,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nothing specific comes to mind. We can maybe have this conversation another time too, and we can pick up some more we'll pick out some,
maybe some off air trips.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Off the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want my mom listening to this and hearing some ridiculous trips.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
wait. Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Haji, I mean, we have some questions here for Christian that we could go into here.
But yeah, before
that.
we do that, you touched on it a little bit, but like that trade to Moncton, like that first day you get there, like how nervous are you to meet like the new guys, and like how quickly did they make you like feel like I'm part of this and like I'm comfortable now. Like, how long did it take for you to get comfy with them?
Yeah, not long at all. That was a great dressing room to jump into. I really only knew Ozzie King a little bit. Like, he was the only guy that I knew before going into that dressing room. I knew of the other guys too because I played against them, but But yeah, so he was great in showing me around my first day and stuff. And World Juniors is going on like around that time of the season, right? So boys are getting together and watching games, so you get a little bit of time away from the rink to build relationships and stuff. And so it didn't really take long at all. That was a great group of guys that year.
Okay. And this is just a question I thought of. It might be kind of funny. If you have any that you can tell, for sure, let them fly. But you guys spend a lot of time on buses, with road trips and stuff like that. You got any funny stories from either your Quebec or Moncton time that you could share? Yeah.
Well, it's always really stinky, like on those long Quebec trips, man. Like, especially in Moncton, like, guys weren't shy to let her rip. So. Yeah, a little gross, but it's true, and it's at the point where like you can tell who it was without them saying it. You spend that much time on there, but yeah, I don't know. We like to mess with the coaches every once in a while too. Like one guy will start like a little whistle, like or something like that, and then it'll like someone else will do it 5 seconds later, and then within like 10 minutes, like it's just like like all across the bus, right? And at like 2 a.m. too. Coach was trying to sleep, and yeah. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's good that you had coaches that like that, because I mean some coaches could probably take it way too seriously, but then
no.
it's nice to have that balance, because they got to realize that they're coaching kids, right? Like
exactly.
As much as you got to be professional, you still are kids.
Yeah,
and
we
still like to have a bit of fun and mess around with each other.
Yeah, our coaches were great. They're players' coaches for sure. They loved having a good time on the bus. Oh yeah, like they would start some of that stuff too. Like Dan Lacroix was our coach for the second half of this year. And I think it was, I'm trying to think, maybe it was Langer. So Dan comes down to supper the night before, and we're going from Baie-Comeau to Rimouski the next day, and you got to take a 3-hour ferry to get there. And so he's like, there's a couple guys that are gone right now to see their families. So we're just gonna, like, tomorrow on the bus, I'm gonna say that make sure everyone has their passport, and you guys are all going to pretend like you have it, because you got that message that you had to bring your passport to get on the ferry. And they're like, okay. And so there's a couple guys missing. So we get on the bus the next day, and Dan pipes up, and he's like, everyone have their passports? And everyone's like, yeah. And a couple guys are like, what? Like, it's a boat. We're staying in Quebec, right? So, but he went on with it, and by the end of it, everyone who wasn't there knew that it was a joke, and there was one guy that was there, that Dan did such a good job of selling it, that he went up and he's like, man, like, I didn't have my passport, like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Langer. I mean, if any of them listen to it, they can correct me later, and we'll figure it out, but yeah. Yeah, no, he was
that is hilarious.
Yeah, he loved having a little bit of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Fulton, you want to jump into these questions?
Yeah, so we got a couple here. I already asked you the one from Keeler about PlayOn there.
Yeah.
These next two they're a little bit more personal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The first one comes from your actually we'll start with this one just to get it out of the way here. This one comes in from Michaela.
Okay.
And she wants to know how you get your jeans cuffed so perfectly.
Yeah, that's a great question. I take pride in my cuffing abilities. You guys know
I
that.
knew this was the type of answer we were going to get.
Yeah. I can't explain it on a podcast. I'd have to show you. So, it got to the point.
Maybe we'll get you to send us a video tutorial. We'll put it on the Instagram.
Yeah, we can do that. 100%. I'd be happy to. But anyways, it got to the point, like, on my teams where I would be cuffing other people's jeans for them. And, like, it happens at home too. I've done it for I've done it for Jordan before, 100%.
You've done it for me, because, like, I've never done that, and I was in a room with you, Jordan, and I think it was Dimmer, and you all had your jeans cuffed. And we were going somewhere, and I was wearing jeans, and I had them down, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I let the peer pressure get to me. I was like, Christian, can you cuff these for me? You were like, yeah. And so you cuffed them for me, and I left them for like 5 minutes, and I was like, you know what? No. Just put them right back down. I was like, Christian, you did a great job, man, but I can't do it.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I think you honestly may have taught me at a party too how to do that, because I had no clue how to do it.
Yeah. I don't know where I learned to do it. I think I just figured it out one day, but yeah, it's very, you can tell the difference between a good cuff and a bad cuff, and so it's very important to get it right. Yeah. Great question, Michaela. Thank you for that. Teed me up.
This next one this one's quite the story here. It comes in from your biggest fan, Dill, and he wants to know, where was the pizza at Fulton's party?
Where was the pizza at Fulton's party?
Yeah.
What? Do you know what he's talking about?
Oh yeah, do I ever?
I know exactly what he's talking about.
Pizza at Fulton's party. Is this going to be the one that I don't even remember?
This it could have been that night because this was like a pretty good night. Like it was probably like, 25 people over, and I told, because my parents were away, and I told them, I was just like, I'm gonna have a couple friends over and play cards.
Is that your dad's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So nothing big. And then like the night gets going, and I was just like, let's have some people over. So we have 20, 25 people over, and we're all hanging out in the kitchen. And I saw this on a video the next day because, so fast forward to the next day, my parents are coming home. I'm cleaning the kitchen. Like we didn't trash the place or anything like that, but I was just cleaning up all the cups, all the spills, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought I had everything back to normal.
Yeah.
And so like my parents, they get home and we're all in the kitchen, and I was going. I had to replace the dishcloth because I was using that for the cleanup. We keep those under the sink. So I opened up a cupboard underneath the sink, and I see a frozen Delissio pizza underneath the sink. And I was like, oh shit. And I closed the cupboard right away. I was like, oh no, I can't let my parents see that. They know I had people over, but like if there was 6 of us here, why would there be a pizza underneath the sink? Yeah. And so I texted the group chat, and I was like, who put a pizza underneath my sink? And Dylan sent a video of you in the corner. You had the pizza still in the plastic, and you kept opening up the cupboard and chucking it underneath the sink.
Oh,
and then
man.
and then 30 seconds later, you'd take it out, and you'd like go over to the oven, and you'd fake put it in the oven, and you'd walk back over, and you'd chuck it underneath the sink. And I guess you just left it there.
I've never even seen the video. That is mental.
I was like, this is going to be the worst way to get busted
doing?
for having a party ever.
What was I doing?
I couldn't tell, because we were going to make them, because I had like 2 of them, so we made one of them, and then you had the other in the plastic. You were just chucking it under the sink.
What was going through my head? Like that's not even like that funny. It's only funny because like I actually did it. It's not like people are like, oh man, like I wonder what Fulton's gonna do if he finds his pizza under his sink tomorrow. Like, what was that? What was going through my head? I need to see the video. If you still have that, you gotta send it to me.
Yeah, I'll text. I'll text.
Oh
Dylan
man, I'm an idiot. That was the night we ended up at the park, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that night. That was we had a lot going on that night.
I slept with my lower body in my downstairs bathroom and my upper body in the hallway that night, and my mom got me a pillow and a blanket. And that doesn't happen like all the time at all, but like that was a big night. We had a big time.
It was one because I mean I feel like whenever we had parties in the neighborhood, because there's like 6 of us in our friend group, that we all live in the same neighborhood, and like whenever we host the parties, which isn't very often, like I find the Wedgwood people especially, like we just kind of we know like, oh, we're just walking down the street to get home,
right. Yeah.
So we have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. I did not even know. If there's not video evidence, I would have said that's somebody else.
I'm picturing the video in my head right now. Because I remember exactly, like, you're in the corner, and you're opening up the cupboard, and you're looking around, and then you're just, whoop, quick little throw under the sink, just closing the cupboard.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin a good pizza.
No, dude, that's. I probably still ate it. I definitely still ate it.
Good. Okay, that's good. That makes me feel better.
But I was like, at the time, because I was like, oh, look at this place, like clean. Like my parents won't even see any messes or anything like that. Come in, they're like, how was your night? I was like, great. I'm just gonna replace the dishcloth because that's what I do now. And I open up the cupboard. And then there's just a pizza, and I was like, oh, shit. That doesn't go there.
Oh, man.
That is hilarious. Fuck. I can't remember what I was going to say. Fulton, you got any more funny things to say?
Oh, that's...
trying to think of... I had something on my head. I just had something I wanted to say, but I completely forgot what it was.
Yeah. Christian, I was talking.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, go.
No, you go before you first. No, you go before you forget it again.
Okay,
Good call.
Christian, I wanted to bring up, if you remember, our 100-meter dash this past summer.
Oh, of course. How could I forget? I almost died.
Fulton, I swear to God, it was a sight to see. He was like me and Christian, like 100-yard dash first, sprinting across a potato field.
That's a whole thing because that was Carrie Underwood night.
That was the rainy night.
And so we were having a great time with the colors that day because we had a slip and slide set up.
Great.
The weather wasn't stopping us. And I didn't.
No, not at all.
I never want to leave the cabins, but I definitely didn't want to leave the cabins that day. So everyone was gone already, and everyone's like, "Yeah, like Carrie Underwood starts in like 10 minutes, and it's like a half-hour walk." So I was like, "Oh no," and I decided that white Vans would be the best choice of shoes to run across a potato field with. So that's what I put on. Darted across the potato field. Finally caught up to you guys, and the whole time I'm thinking like I'm not getting like a whole lot of training in this weekend, so like where I can get it, let's do it. So I caught up to you guys, and then when I caught up to you guys, I just stopped.
I remember you said that.
Yeah. I was serious for some reason. So I let you guys go again. I just stopped and caught my breath, and then so I would sprint 200. I'd let you guys go 200 meters ahead, and then I'd sprint to you and stop again. I kept doing that. And then you decided that you wanted to race me. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Keep in mind, this is after me consuming a 2-4 beer.
Right.
Like, I was heavy
and we knew that. And so I gave you a little bit of a head start because of the alcohol disadvantage. And,
I had a lot of additional
proceeded
baggage.
to book it. And I caught you, and I was leading by a bit, and then you gave up. And I was like, okay, I think I can call her a day. And so I was just walking. But, like, I'm a competitive guy, so I know it's, like, not over. So I'm not going to, like, come back and, like, walk with you, right? Like, I'm still walking ahead of you. I want to win.
He had to let me know he was still in the lead.
Yeah. And so, like...
I was like...
Yeah.
I'm, like, coughing a lung up at the back. And Christian's just walking like nothing happened. And I'm, like, practically on the verge of throwing up.
Yeah. And then, like, 2 minutes later... all I hear is, like, footsteps, like, behind me. And I, like, snap into gear, and I look behind me. Haji's gunning it. I've never seen him run so fast in my life. He passes me. I run into a full sprint. And the race, for some reason, we decided it was till the traffic light. And we both go, like head
That was,
duck.
like, a mile and a half.
Yeah. But you only did the first, like, 20 meters and the last 40 meters of the race. So we were still, we had all the energy in the world. We go as hard as possible through the finish line, like head down and everything, into oncoming traffic. You stopped a little faster than I did, but I literally had to grab onto the traffic light pole, and that's what saved me from not dying that night. Yeah.
Oh my! I remember that. I was breathing heavy, and for some reason I caught a second wind, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's just give her." I come chugging. I was breathing heavy, and I'm just chugging behind Christian. He just looks behind really quickly and sees me coming.
Yeah, I'm not happy about the fact that you won, but it is what it is.
I kept screaming like beer league mentality behind you.
Paid off, man. I gotta get some of that.
Oh my god,
Yeah, it was a smart race. You did well.
I legit could have like coughed up a lung and passed out. That was the hardest I've ever ran in my life.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. Yeah, I'll give you that. Did you ever run track in like junior high and high school?
Yeah, I remember I did track in grade 6. Like, you remember that track meet they used to do in grade 6 where all the elementaries got together? For some reason, I thought it'd be a great idea to run was it 400 meter, 800 meter?
The 400 meters, the 2
8.
laps is 800.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it'd be great to run that because, you know, I'm a track athlete, but my cardio is like the worst thing you'll ever see in your life. I came dead last by like 5 minutes.
Man, 800 and 400 suck.
I'm not a big cardio guy or track
400.
guy.
The 400 is like, it has to be the worst one. It's a full sprint around the track.
Yeah. You did 400.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I did the 400, and it was like, Because, like, I was more into, like, the 100 and 200s.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, like, when you're into that in junior high, like, the gym teacher kind of, like, picks you out of a crowd and it's like, oh, you like doing sprints and you're, like, pretty athletic in gym class, so you're going to do the 400, and I don't care if you don't want to type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what happened. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I go to the tryout. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do 100 and 200. He was like, all right, you're also going to do 400. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that too, I guess. And then running it, I was like, it's like 30 degrees out there, and you finish your race, and you're like, the worst part is that, like, the first 100 meters, since I was, like, more into the 100 meters, I was, like, kind of out ahead. And then you hit, like, the 250-meter mark, and, like, you're just watching. You're getting, like, dust kicked in your face.
Mm.
Like, you're just done.
Yeah, well, your legs are jello. I almost fell on the last 100 meters. I only ran 400 one time, and I actually, like, in front of the big grandstand at Beasley Field, I'm coming down, and, like, I'm coming back on the guy that's leading my heat, and I'm, like, giving it everything I have, but my legs aren't there anymore, and I actually almost fell. Like, my hands hit the rubber. Like, it was that close.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah,
man, you know what I hated though about track?
What's that?
It's like practice.
Yeah, like, what do you practice? How do you practice running?
You're just running, and like everyone, like I mean, I don't know. I also was never going to track to win. Like I wasn't good enough. You know what I mean?
It was the
track
day off
was
school.
awesome because you just go. It's a field trip. You just get to hang out with literally everybody in the city. It's awesome.
Yeah,
like
that was
There was one year that it rained the whole time, and I literally just laid in our tent and I let people sit on me and keep me warm. I didn't even do my events.
No,
like,
that day was miserable, dude.
Yeah, but every other day at track, it was super sunny and super nice, and no one wanted to run, just wanted to be there. But you had to run to be there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember, like, back in grade 9 when... It's kind of funny because in PlayOn, when we had our team basically made up of, like, one, like, super competitive hockey player and ended up winning. And then the rest were just, like... Well, there was, like, the high school guys, but then it was just, like, house league and then non-hockey players. Do you remember our grade 9 basketball lineup?
Oh, man. That's
it was
else.
The starting lineup was like me, who was still playing basketball at that time, Abesy, who I think was like 2 years off of his last basketball season, and then it was you, Welshie, and Franco. Those 3 hockey players, a guy who used to play basketball, and then one basketball player, but instead of being the underdog story that like ends up winning, we lost by 80 like every single game.
Every game. I was starting, and I played every game in my first 2 years. Every game for the basketball team. And you know how many points I had? Guess how many points I had. Someone guess how many points I had.
Like 26.
Like 10.
Like total? We play for some context, we probably played 20 games in those 2 years.
So you probably had like you were probably up around 20 points. I
had 5 points. Which is good enough to start for CP. So it was great. It was good. We had fun.
We did have fun. I remember trying to teach Franco like free throws, because I mean he never.
The warm-up drill we do.
Yeah, it was just like you had to take 2 free throws, but in order to like for the next guy to go up, you had to make both of them. And Franco stepped on the line, and I mean, keep in mind, like, we asked Franco Franco wanted to play because of his height. Because he was just, like, at that age, for how tall he was, it was just, like, it was not normal. And we were like, you could be our post guy. But he like, had no, like, never played an organized game, so he steps up on the free throw line. And the first one, I think he banked it, but, like, instead of banking it in, he banked it off the backboard, and that's all it hit. It was just like just a bonk right off the backboard. It was like, okay, Franco, a little less. Just takes bricks. a little less off his next shot. Air ball. We're like, all right, a little more. Right back off the backboard. That one took a while.
We'd spend the entire warm-up just Franco shooting. That was great.
It'd be like the end of the first quarter, and it was like 32-2.
Yeah.
Not for us, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good times though. 100%. Got a great picture out of it, so.
So that's all that matters.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, exactly.
Fulton, you got anything more for this guy or what?
I've asked all my questions.
I think I don't. And Christian, you have anything that you want to bring up?
Well, did you try craft dinner in the microwave yet, Fulton?
No. Are you into that too?
Oh,
I've never done that in my life. It sounds
Okay.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there.
Come on.
And also,
Do
no
not
one eats craft dinner with a
knock
spoon.
it.
No one eats it with a spoon. Thank you.
No one eats with a spoon unless you're 4. My billet sisters eat craft dinner with a spoon.
Haji's 0 for 2.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
God.
That's all
Christian,
I wanted to
do
say.
All right. Well,
Do you pineapple on pizza for you though? How about that?
Not a huge fan, but I can do it now. I used to hate
Okay.
pineapple, but now it's actually really good.
All right. That's
So,
so.
funny.
well,
that
since we're
works.
going through our polls, Elf
Yeah.
or National Lampoons?
What's that?
Elf or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Elf.
Which movie
I've
you
actually
pick?
never watched National Lampoon's Christmas all the way through.
Oh,
I've seen it, but like,
oh,
I'm
my.
sorry, Haji.
Oh my god!
I gotta be
Just
killing
every.
you right
Christian.
Oh yeah, you're.
Uh,
Well, I'm never
Oh,
gonna
I-
eat craft dinner with a spoon now, since you just shit on it ever
Yeah.
again.
now. Well, it's true. It's not soup, Haji. It's pasta.
It's solid food.
But
pasta.
like you're just scooping it, so who cares?
Well, yeah. Well, no. No. Spoons are
Well,
for yogurt.
needless to say, I'm done with the spoon. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
done with the
Okay.
fucking
That's
spoon.
good. That's good. Yeah.
I'll grow.
Haji's
I'll
growing
grow up.
It just took a good roasting from an Instagram poll for Haji to be like, maybe
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doing this wrong.
Yeah. No. I think
But
everyone
I
who
will-
was listening knew exactly where that was going.
Yeah.
Like as we were
But-
listening, they were like, he's gonna regret saying this.
But do not knock microwave craft dinner until you try it.
Yeah. No, I will try it.
Try it, and I guarantee you will text me and say I was wrong.
Haji, how do you even
Yeah.
make that? Do you just like dump it
It's
into a bowl? Like how does it?
Yeah, you put it in like a microwavable bowl, like a big bowl, like mixing bowl.
Yeah.
And you put a cup of 3/4 full of water into the
Yeah.
bowl. Put it in the microwave for 3 minutes.
Hang on, I'm taking
Take it out.
notes.
It's on the box.
Yeah, it's legitimately on the box. So you put it in for 3 minutes. Take it back out. You stir it around a little bit. Put it back in for another 3 minutes. Do the same thing, and then after the third 3-minute time it's in there, take it out. Put the cheese in the bowl. Mix it around. Throw a little bit of milk, a little scoop of butter. Mix it around, and you've got yourself the best bowl of craft dinner. I guarantee it. Take that to the bank.
I will
Okay.
try it, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's gonna like change the way I make it forever, but I'll give it a shot.
Just give it a whirl. I mean, I don't care if you like the oven better, but just give it a whirl because I'm tired of people saying that I'm a psychopath for trying it on eating it out of the microwave.
Haji, we gotta Christian. Me and Haji had a debate about this as well because a couple pods ago I said I'm not a big fan of bacon by itself. Like
Okay.
bacon. Like I don't. If it's like if there's an option between like eggs and bacon or eggs and ham, I'll always go with the ham kind of
Yeah.
thing, or like steak and eggs. But like I'm just not a huge fan of like eating strips of bacon by itself. Like if I get like a chicken bacon ranch wrap from
Yeah.
Tim's, I'm not picking out the bacon. Like I don't take
Right.
it that far. Or if there's like bacon bits in a salad, I'm not picking them out. But like
Yeah.
I feel like one of the most overrated foods is bacon by itself.
Jeez,
That's
might be.
such a false statement.
Man, I don't know what it is with me and you, Haji, but we just don't think the same. Like I think that I like bacon. I really like
no.
bacon. I like bacon. I like bacon a lot. Like I had bacon for breakfast today. I will never make bacon for myself. If someone else makes bacon for me, perfect.
Okay, I can agree with that. I'm not just making bacon bacon to eat it, but if
No,
there's like bacon
with
and eggs, I'm
breakfast, like
pumped.
bacon and eggs, and I'm always making eggs and toast and oatmeal. That's disgusting. I know that, but it's really easy to make, and so I do that. But yeah, bacon. Everyone, it might be the most overrated food. Like, what else would be up there in the conversation?
Most overrated food?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I honestly, for me, like pepperoni pizza is not what I crave ever. So that would be up there too.
Yeah, if I get a pizza, I'm not getting pepperoni. It'd probably be my third or fourth choice.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Christian, in Quebec, did they have donaires?
I never had one.
Or is that just like
I had a poutine.
Because I know like Ontario, they don't have like donaires, dude. Or donair sauce. Or garlic fingers.
Who was I?
They're missing
Who
out.
was I talking to about that? I think, yeah, there's guys on my team that haven't even heard of it before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to me. But like, I had a real poutine might be up there as well. Like fries and cheese are both better separate than they are together, in my opinion.
Ooh. I don't
Yeah?
know. I could.
Okay. Well, I mean, we
I
can
can argue that.
Man, we've been talking for an hour and a half. We could go for 3 hours. I bet.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think we really could.
And I just split it into 2 episodes here.
Part
one,
two.
Part two.
Man, I'm trying to think about an overrated food. I really can't bring one to mind.
I know. You can throw it on the polls. Let the people speak.
Yeah, well, let people
that's big time.
give their that's a good idea.
We'll open up
Yeah,
a
we'll do
question
that for
question story into
Perfect.
most overrated foods. Christian, looking in, I guess all three of us, we're in that Masters pool,
Yeah.
or not really pool
Sure.
because it's not happening.
How could
but-
we not talk about this?
So we're in a group chat. There's like what 6, 7 of us.
Six
of us?
including my dad.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so again, we talked about this earlier, but WGT Golf, probably the best app that I've ever downloaded on my phone.
It's awesome.
If you want a golf game that makes you want to Gronk spike your phone in the ground, download that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those games where, like, oh man, because at first I keep renting like clubs before playing my rounds, and I rented this new set of irons for today's rounds.
Huh.
And you know, like the bar, the meter for like, you got to tap it and you got to land on the perfect spot for the ball to like go where you want it to, which it never does because it's golf. And the bar goes really fast, and I was like chipping into like the brush and the deep rough and stuff. Yeah. But that game, there's nothing more frustrating than hitting your tee shot into the brush, and then you come up and you have like 100-yard chip to the green, and you do like a full shot, and it goes like 20 yards.
Oh, man.
I can tell you how far your phone can go across the room, but I can't tell you if your ball. Yeah, it can go further than your ball's gonna go. I'll guarantee that.
Man, we also need more players too. So if anyone's listening and wants to download the WGT app, hit us up.
Shoot us a message.
Yeah, we need more people
get in
on the tour.
this.
Yeah, it's a
Play
good
one
time.
round a day.
Yeah.
1 round a day for 4 rounds, and then there's nothing on the line at all.
But if we get more people, we can actually put something on the line.
That's true.
Oh, what was the bet you guys had? Because that tour or that FedEx Cup race ended, and Haji definitely lost.
What did we put, $5 on it, Haji?
Yeah, I'll send you $5.
Oh yeah, it was like $5 that we'd be battling it out for last place, but then I would come out on top.
Yeah, no, Haji definitely had last place locked down.
Yeah, I'm not great at the game.
You're coming along though.
Soon as they took away gimmies, I was fucked.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, it was like the first couple of rounds you play when you're on beginner mode. It's like 10-foot gimmies. You get on the green and it's like, oh, here's your birdie. You didn't work for it at all, but here you go. And now it's like you have like a 1-foot power putt, and you go up there and you floor it to the back of the cup, and then it kicks out. You're like, what? What the?
Yeah, it's a good time though. You know what, Haji? I thought of a point I can agree with you with from
What's up?
Previous podcast. The golden goal should be higher than 4.
Thank you.
Even for Fulton.
Thank you.
Even for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's
I don't know,
but I guess because like you know what I would have put on the top 5 too.
What's that?
Is Mike Weir winning the Masters?
Okay. Well, like
But,
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's why. That's why they're so pylons with opinions, key
Yes,
emphasis
that's
on
true.
opinions.
Yeah.
Because like that top 5, it was we both of us kind of agreed on what the top 5 should be, but then it was like our ranks were kind of like more how it was for us.
Yeah, I think that has a big play on it too.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite is the golden goal, but like
Okay.
I remember where I was and how cool that experience was for me. But if you didn't even watch the game, it's like how can you say that?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like
I actually,
the Raptors winning the championship was like that was like the most fun night of my entire life.
you were with us that night at
Was
Scotia
I
Square,
ever?
weren't
I
you?
didn't stop jumping the entire game.
That was
Basketball's
awesome.
the best sport ever to watch on TV. Like that's hands down the truth.
The finals.
There's not
Yeah.
a more intense sport. Even regular season games, man. It's so hype.
Yeah.
They score every 2 seconds. Like
Yeah.
it's not like hockey where like there's nothing to cheer about until someone makes a hit or like scores a goal. Like those games can get hyped too, but like it's not the same. Like
No,
if Golden
that's
State
true.
goes on a run, Oracle's out of its mind.
Yeah.
Like that
Dude.
stadium does not sit down for the rest of the game.
You know what? You know
Yeah.
what series I watched? Well, they're showing it. I don't know if it. No, I think it'd be over by now. But Sportsnet was playing the 2016 finals, and that was the year that LeBron took over. Golden State was up 3-1,
Yeah.
and then it was just like a LeBron show, and coming all the way back. Game 7 at Oracle, and LeBron takes over.
Yeah.
And Cleveland wins that series. That was the best basketball that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah.
I was so sad though.
Why the Golden State lost?
Yeah. I like that. I think he's a good guy.
I don't know. I'm a big LeBron guy, so I was happy to see
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
end the way it did.
It was he needed a ship from Cleveland. He needed to get that, but I felt bad. I wanted the perfect season to be perfect.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
true.
Well,
I was
I
kind
guess.
of looking for that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you firsthand, being a Tampa Bay fan, coming off last year, I can tell you, I wish that went a whole lot different than that did.
Yeah. That was unbelievable.
That was probably that was the hardest week of my life, I think. Just because
I remember I didn't text you at all after that because I was like, I'm not even gonna try talking to this guy
dude.
because he's gonna be so pissed.
And
Yeah.
the problem was, like, winning 62 games in the regular season, I was talking a lot of shit to a lot. Like, I mean, Dylan's a huge Bruins fan, and that was, like, the main guy that I was talking shit to about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just roll Columbus here in the first round, and then we'll see you in the second round where we'll roll over you guys, too. And then it was like 2-0, and I get a text from Dylan. And he was like, I know you're sweating because you lost those first two games at home. And I was like, no, it's the best team in the league. Don't worry about it. And then they just get shit kicked. And that was probably the toughest thing I had to go through sports-wise.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
And it didn't really even affect me a whole lot because, I don't know, I'm just a fan. I don't play for him.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's harder to watch than it is to play on the nerves. I can attest to that. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, going back to that golden goal thing, like, it was number 4 on my list, but I can, like, admit that for the top moments in Canadian sports in the 2010s, that would be, or even, like, the 2000s, that would definitely be, if you're asking most Canadians, that would definitely be number 1.
Yeah.
For, like, majority. It's just, like, for me, I mean, hockey was, like, that one sport I never played.
Yeah, fair
So
enough.
I didn't really like baseball. I mean, I've been a Jays fan since I was like, I've been watching Jays games since I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
But like hockey was like kind of later
Yeah.
in my life. So
Yeah,
like, that's
no,
why.
I understand for sure. That makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, I understood, but I just didn't agree with it.
No, I know you didn't.
Yeah. Like
But I actually found out the other day, a good friend texted me and told me I was an idiot because apparently I got the day of the week wrong when I said I was in class watching the game. Apparently it was on a weekend and not a weekday. So, my bad.
oh, yeah.
Apparently
Yeah,
I got
that's
that
true.
day
That's
wrong.
true. Because I was definitely not in school. We were in school.
apparent-
We were in school for the next Olympics.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
where was that?
Yeah.
Was that in? No, it wasn't Beijing.
Was that Sochi?
Yeah, it was Sochi.
Yeah,
we were
it would have been
definitely in school for that
2014.
one.
It was
2014.
2014.
I watched the women's final in math class, and then we watched didn't we watch the men's final in the gym?
Yeah, that's right. We
but
set it
Haji
up on
went
the
fair game,
projector.
so, yeah. But
Yeah,
at CP we
that's
watched
what
it.
happened. I must have mixed up 2014 and 2010 because my dad actually told me I was at a hockey tournament.
Oh wow!
And like we were racing home to see the end of the game from I think it was probably from New Brunswick or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Cool.
yeah, my bad, just got those mixed up. But yeah, definitely
Like,
golden goal number 1 for sure.
Good stuff.
Christian, I'm just looking at our. Usually, we have the doc set up for, our other episodes,
Yeah.
and we'll have different topics for that, and different questions and whatnot. But I guess we can go through some of them with you.
Okay.
Get your takes on them too.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I like
So, this first one, I mean, again, it could be one of those things where you're just kind of living in the moment and you never really remember what the hell happened at them. But
Okay.
our first topic here in the topic bank is cottage parties.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So you just want my thoughts on just that?
Yeah, just that. Or a story that you have that kind of
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite things in the entire world. 100%. Cottage party over everything. Downtown sucks. House parties are a little bit better, and then cottage parties are the best. Especially because everyone stays the night at a cottage party, and so you never have to worry about leaving, which is dangerous. And
No, I know it. And nowadays too, whenever we have house parties now, in the city, I find half the party leaves to go downtown at 11.
That's true.
But if you didn't really have that mindset at first, and you're coming to a house party and you just kind of want to hang out there for the night with your friends and that, and then half of them want to go downtown, so you either got to get in the mood to go downtown.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Or you're well, now this party just sucks.
Yeah.
So cottage
so
parties
true.
are sick because you're going till the sun comes up, and everyone's there the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to say that cottage party stories are for another podcast, because we can go all day with those.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's...
we'll save that for the next time.
I'm 100% a go for a cottage party.
I'm thinking of one specific story, actually, that we'll definitely
I know.
save for next
I was hoping
podcast.
that you'd
That
say
has
it.
to do with me, Christian, and Noah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
No,
we'll
that's a
save
good
that.
one.
We'll save
get
that
there
for next time.
eventually, yeah. That's a really good one.
It's actually
I almost
it's a
die with you a
hilarious
lot.
story.
I almost
What?
die with you. I think every time I've almost died, it's been with you.
I think me and Noah I think me and Noah may have peer pressured Christian to come with us. It felt against his will, but it was still funny.
Yeah, tune in next time.
Apologies for putting you in danger, but it's always a good story. Always comes out of it.
Yeah,
It's always a great story when everybody comes out alive.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll save that for next time. But that's a good story. I still laugh at that every time I think about it.
Yeah, no, that was a good night. That was a good night.
Fulton, what else you got?
I was just looking at it, and I think we need to set up another story to get more, because I don't know, do fish get thirsty? That's a question submitted to us from Jordan, and that's also another one of those things where that could take a long time to answer.
Yeah.
That seems like a while.
No, right?
I don't think so. I don't think they do.
Wait, who would argue yes? Would anyone argue yes?
I wouldn't.
No.
I definitely would not.
If Jordan would, get him on the podcast.
You know what? There's
That's where it's going apart.
There's another Instagram poll for you. That's going to be the one right there, Haji. That might put you on the board.
Yeah, if I lost that one, I'd question society.
We're gonna start keeping a tally. So right now, I'm up 4-0?
3-0.
3-0. Katie with a fork, pineapple
Yeah.
on pizza, yes, and Elf over Lampoons. So I'm up 3-0 right now. Haji, we're gonna keep the tally.
The pineapple on pizza one.
Yeah.
Was that close?
It
Yeah,
was
so
close.
was really close.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
very
So was
close.
the
I think
so was the Elf one. The Elf and Lampoons was very close.
Elf and
surprised
Lampoons
about
was
that
very close. That one was like
I think
it was like
I think you only won by
54
3.
to 46.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like
you
that.
only won by 3 or 4 votes on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one, pineapple on pizza was very close, but the one that was not close was
Oh, yeah.
eating KD with a fork or a spoon. That was like
Yeah.
45 to 14 final.
I'm really
Yeah,
surprised no
you
one's
really
ever told
took
you
that
that
one.
before.
Nobody has ever told me different. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's our fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah. We need to be better friends. We
Yeah,
can't let you be led astray like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's
you
just-
think like after a party or something, like make up some KD, we're all just sitting there enjoying it around the table, and then like you just kind of catch Aaron out of the corner of your eye. You look at him, you say, "Aaron, you must be drunk, man, because you're eating your KD with a spoon." Something as easy as that, and he'd be like, "What? You guys are
No,
you guys are
he's
using
VGing
forks?"
that night. Yeah. Dead sober. Unreal.
Yeah, no, I'm actually the DD. Oh, so you're just choosing DD.
Oh, so you're just a psychopath. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, I will no longer be eating it with a fork
Fair enough.
or spoon. Sorry, spoon. Sorry.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's
so
up,
we gotta-
boys?
we gotta-
What were you gonna say? You go first.
I was just gonna say we have a couple things that we got. Do fish get thirsty? That's for the Instagram.
Yeah.
Most overrated foods. I'm interested to see what we get.
Yeah,
for that
I'd
one.
have to put some thought into that one. That's
Yeah.
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 That's a
you
good
gotta
one. I like
put
that.
on the story.
And we're gonna need your video of you cuffing the jeans.
Yeah, and I need the video of the pizza
Yeah.
at your place. I'm not 100% sure it exists. So, I've got to get going because we have the first annual quarantine Olympics at the Huntley House going down in about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's big
Oh.
time.
Yeah, it includes a
Oh.
mini putt course, beer
Oh.
pong.
I like that.
I don't even know what else is in store. We might have like a bunch of dumb stuff. I'll let you know.
Sounds like
Yeah.
fun, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited.
Well, man, thank you for hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
This is a lot of
Christian,
fun.
thank
This
you
is a lot of fun.
very
Yeah.
much for coming
Yeah.
on. This was great. This was great. First official interview, and I think it went off with a bang. Like, it was great. Awesome.
Zach Moody wanted me to give him a shout out, so if he listened for an hour and 50 minutes, here it is. I'm not even going to tell him that I did it, and just see if he listens to the end.
That's smart. That's
Okay.
smart. Save the shout outs for the end. They
All
got to
right.
listen to the whole thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, Christian, you'll definitely be on another time for sure. We'll throw around some more stories, but thank you
All right.
a lot
Like it.
for coming on, being our first guest.
Thanks
All right,
for
Hans.
having
Thanks
me.
a lot.
It's a good time.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right, Aaron.
See you,
you
boys.
wanna-
Thanks,
you wanna
CJ.
head off?
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do your thing.
Yes, this has been another episode of Pylons with Opinions featuring Christian Huntley. Thank you to everyone for listening and tuning in. Remember to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at PylonsPod. You can reach us there to submit your questions and anything else you would like to say. Just a reminder that it's staff parking outside and all other violators will be towed. Have a fantastic week.